defending the free market, and making the moral case for capitalism. The Justin Moore Show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Justin Moore Show, where we make sense of what's going on in this crazy, insane, out of control world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, first off, I don't know if any of you, some of you are probably scratching your head. You're like, hey Justin, you didn't do a show last week. What the hell's going on? Well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know what's going on. I produced the show. It came out. I don't know what the heck's going on. I do my podcast hosting service through Libsyn. I emailed them. My latest episode is not showing up on my website. I emailed those guys. I don't know what's going on. I subscribe to my own show on iTunes to always make sure stuff's appearing and all that sort of thing. I can't get it to appear on my show, so I don't know if anybody got it. I hope. I'm still trying to talk to Libsyn, get that figured out, and I hope this episode I'm doing right now, I hope this will get out. I have no idea. I'm so horrible with technology. You know, back when I was in high school, man, I used to kind of be almost like a computer nerd to a certain degree. Like I wanted to, know about the latest stuff, and I knew how the computers worked and that sort of thing, knowing about RAM and all that. Well, I mean, that's pretty basic stuff. But now I haven't been able to keep up like I want to, and there's some things I know I need to learn, so I know it will help improve the show. So I'm working on all that stuff. So I'm hoping I'm going to get this all figured out, because here I am. I'm recording this show. I'm flying out to Vegas and then Phoenix for a buddy's bachelor party. So there's a lot going on here. So I'm doing the best I can here. I'm a one-man show. And let me just start off this episode. These last 2 episodes in a row, I've talked about the airline industry to certain degrees and the crazy stuff going on. And, the latest news, and I'm sure you guys have heard this, United's taken a beating these last several weeks. And I remember, because, you guys know I work for United. And when I'm in the break room and I was talking to these guys, this was probably a few days of media coverage from the Dr. David Dow incident. And I'm all saying, man, you know what? All we need now is a freaking pet to die, and we're in big trouble. And I think I jinxed us, because here we have a news story that came out. I don't know. This was sometime around towards the end of April here, and there was a bunny that died underneath the plane. Now this wasn't an ordinary bunny, just your average little cottontail running around. No, this bunny was set to be the largest bunny in the world. I mean, this would be in the record books. Apparently, this bunny was owned by a Playboy bunny, and it was being sold to some other celebrity. And this bunny was only 10 months old, but based on, I guess, how big it was at that point in its life, it was set to be the biggest. Well, when it was flying from Heathrow Airport in London to Chicago, which it seems everything's happening in Chicago. That's where the Dr. David Dow incident occurred, was in Chicago, going from Chicago to Louisville. Well, this was an international flight, so London to Chicago. Well, when they opened up the cargo compartment in Chicago, they open up and there is the dead bunny. I can't remember what the name of the bunny is. I'm sure a lot of people out there know, and they're probably yelling at me, "Oh, Justin, it's this." I don't know. So yeah, this bunny dies. Now I still don't know what the details are on this news story, like what caused the bunny to die, because there's a lot of things that can happen here. So I'm going to keep this very, very short. So I don't know what happened. Does that mean that it was the airline's fault? No, because sometimes, say if you went to go ship a pet and it was, just starting, it was just a little bit sick, but it wasn't very noticeable and no noticeable symptoms. Well, the stress from the flight could cause that. Now, obviously, if the bunny was in a compartment with a package of dry ice, then yeah, that's absolutely the airline's fault. Because, and I've learned this in my little classes I take, and I think I've discussed this on my show a little bit, where I've learned that if you're putting a pet under a plane, if it's in a pit in the airplane, you can't have it next to dry ice, because that will suffocate the pet. So there's certain things that would make it the airline's fault. So I don't know on that story, but basically it looks like from the media's perspective that United killed the Easter Bunny. So if there's not Easter next year, So I don't know. It's just one thing after another. It's crazy. And now I want to jump into some political news. I'll try to keep this more of a brief episode. Who knows if this episode's even getting out there? I hope I can get all this stuff figured out before I fly out. What we just came across this last Saturday, it was Trump's 100th day in office. And, there's a lot of people had a lot to say about that. The media, they have their take on Trump's 100 days. Now, Trump's been attacking the media ever since he was running for president, saying, fake news, this and that. They're trying to make me look bad. Well, I came across this piece in the USA Today, and it's by Chuck Schumer. This is Senator Chuck Schumer from New York, and this is his take on Trump's first 100 days. Now, I just have a few sentences from his piece here. Now, obviously, Chuck Schumer is a Democrat. He's a slimeball. I can't stand Chuck Schumer, and he's the minority leader in the Senate. So 2 sentences I got right here. On behalf of the powerful corporations and special interests he once stumped against, there are 4 main areas where his promises have fallen flat now that he's in office. Jobs and the economy, draining the swamp, healthcare, and his budget. Then with that said, Chuck Schumer goes on saying this in regards to jobs and the economy. The president ran as a savvy businessman who could create jobs and get the economy growing faster than even most experts predicted. But in 100 days, his party hasn't introduced one significant piece of job-creating legislation. Okay, that right there. How Chuck Schumer is criticizing Donald Trump. This is from the Keynesian mindset, the Democrat mindset, that, okay, well, if you want to, help create jobs, well, from Chuck Schumer's perspective, well, it's the government's job to create jobs. You got to provide stimulus, infrastructure spending. You have to pass jobs bills. If you're not passing jobs bills, well, then how can you create jobs? Businesses are greedy. They just want to make money, but they don't, they're not all about creating jobs. Only the government can create jobs. I mean, this is from Chuck Schumer's perspective on the economy. And like with Obama, it was within his first month in office in 2009 is when they passed through the jobs bill, stimulus bill. It's like the $867 billion bill. So people could point out how successful, Obama's first 100 days were. And actually, I pulled up here, there's a little chart here where it shows the number of laws that were signed in the first 100 days. And it's comparing Trump to Obama to George W. Bush and Bill Clinton. Well, if you are going to base your first 100 days on how many laws you passed, which would mean progress, right? That's from the progressive point of view. Well, Trump, so far in his first 100 days, he signed 29 laws. And Obama, his first 100 days, he signed 14. George W. Bush signed 7. Bill Clinton signed 22. So Trump, in that metric, he's, I guess, a success based on the number of laws passed. Now, obviously, from a libertarian perspective, you don't want a president to pass a bunch of laws, because most likely those laws have unintended consequences and they're going to end up growing the size of government. So we actually just want repeals of laws is what we want. And then, but here's an interesting metric too. If you're looking at laws signed, how do you determine were these laws going to increase the size of government or going to shrink the size of government? Well, the way you can kind of look at that in terms of a general sort of way is by looking at if they're bills with a lot of words, that means it's probably adding and increasing the size of government. Like with Obamacare, over 2,000 pages, and Dodd-Frank financial bill, they, thousands of pages long. That adds a lot more regulations and it creates a lot more government departments and that sort of thing. So in general, from a libertarian point of view, you want bills with a lot less words, because typically those ones you are repealing regulations and other laws. And so if you look at it that way, you look at, based on Trump's 29 laws, the total number of pages of these bills is 133. With Obama, he had 1,602 pages. With Bush, he passed 9 laws in his first 100 days, and there are a total of 8 pages. And with Bill Clinton, with the 22 bills that he signed into law in his first 100 days, those were 62 pages. So And then you can look at, obviously, the number of words, looking at those pages. Just to really make this, I'm just going to look at Trump and Obama. Trump, he had 79,000 words. Compared to Obama, he had 1.1 million words. And basing on that, Obama has increased the size of government more than Trump has thus far. But anyway, let's get back to Chuck Schumer's little piece here. And he says, and while we heard plenty of tough talk from Trump on holding China accountable for its rapacious trade practices, the president has refused to label China a currency manipulator and signaled he's going to back off on trade enforcement with the Chinese for the near term. Okay, in regards to that, yeah, you're right, Chuck. That when Trump was running for president, man, he was going after China all the time. We need to go after China. They're manipulating their currency. Well, if you've read Chuck Schumer, Trump's Art of the Deal, or just like in general, if you're trying to get your way and you're talking with someone, whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, by calling someone names and picking on them, is that more likely to get your way, or is that less likely to get your way? That would be less likely to get your way. So really, maybe Trump still believes that China is a currency manipulator, which I think he does, and but he's being smart about it. He's not just gonna go after them in that way and put them on the defensive. Then Trump will never achieve anything he wants to, and he wants to improve relations with China. But at the same time, Trump wants to appeal to the working man, and that he wants to keep jobs here in the United States. What's that little slogan that Trump has? It's the Buy American, Hire American. And actually, I think he passed a little executive order in regards to that. So Trump's trying to play both sides here. And, Trump's being a politician, which people prided and people voted for Trump because, Trump's not a politician. Well, guess what? He's very much a politician. And to be a savvy businessman in New York City real estate, you're pretty much a politician. Why did Trump donate to both sides of the aisle? Democrats like Chuck Schumer, who's writing this piece against Donald Trump. Trump has donated thousands of dollars to Chuck Schumer's campaigns for the Senate. You got to support these politicians, even if you don't really. Who knows where you really stand? But if you want to get your way, you got to play the game. And so that's what Trump's done for decades in regards to New York City real estate. And then just the one last sentence here I got from Chuck Schumer's piece, because the rest of it's just kind of a bunch of crap. And then this is what Chuck Schumer says. Trump loved to say he would drain the swamp once he got to Washington, but he's filled his cabinet with billionaires, bankers, and people laden with conflicts of interest. Okay, well, first off, from this comment, Chuck Schumer, and this is kind of a general problem that most people have. They see government as this entity that's an unbiased third party that just oversees everything. It has no interests whatsoever. It just wants the best for the people. It wants the best for the little guy, the middle class. That is how these politicians like Chuck Schumer, that's how they sell government to the masses. And guess what? It works. That's what Obama did. But as you guys who listen to this show know, the government very much has a bias. And Burton Folsom in his book, The Myth of the Robber Barons, he makes the point that there are political entrepreneurs and market entrepreneurs and, that sort of thing. So, government has its own people it's trying to please. And yeah, if you can keep people on the dole of government, you want people to get on welfare because those people most likely will vote for more government. They want you, and that's how you can keep feeding the beast. And so that's what's at play here. And the government has an interest in growing itself, in taking more power and consuming more resources. And so that's what government is always trying to do. And that's what it continues to do, especially since 1971, since the US dollar has completely been delinked from the gold standard. The government has grown at a rate never seen since the creation of our country. And that's why I argue, and I think that's one of the best reforms we could do that will shrink the size of government. You can talk about this and that and pass a little bill here and there. But if you absolutely want to chain the government down, you need to put the dollar back on a gold standard and not have any exceptions. Like, oh, well, yeah, we should be on a gold standard except for in times of war. No, that's stupid. People need to feel the cost of war. And if people actually feel the cost of war, will they be more likely to go to war or less likely to go to war? They're going to be less likely to go to war. Look at Vietnam and all the protests that took place then. Remember the World War II posters, save your cans. And people couldn't get access to tires because everything was going towards the war effort. People actually were feeling the effects of war. People wanted to get it over with. And now we just live in a state of perpetual war, which is not good for liberty lovers. Where we're trying to have socialism domestically and we're trying to export socialism abroad, and we're just trying to keep war going at the same time. War is the health of the state. And so just to kind of wrap all this up, Trump's first 100 days, there's been a lot of controversy. You've had, the resignation of Michael Flynn, Trump saying that the Obama administration was hacking him at Trump Tower. Basically what Trump's been doing is he's kind of been doing the same sort of game that he did before he became president, where he's keeping himself in the news. You got to keep controversy, and if you need to use that to deflect from other things, that's what Trump's doing, and he's really good at that. He goes to Twitter, he has his little one-liners that causes the press to be in a little frenzy. It's Trump, man. I'm sure he just loves being president. If this guy can, he wants to just keep running for re-election. Because he loves the attention he gets. Because it doesn't matter who's president. That's what you're always going to hear about, is what this administration is doing and this and that. Trump loves it. So I don't know. But Trump, he has done some good things. Having Neil Gorsuch nominated to the Supreme Court, and now he's a sitting Supreme Court justice. He was a good pick. That's definitely a lot better pick than Hillary Clinton could have ever done. Hillary Clinton wouldn't have come even close to that. So you got to do hats off to Trump for that. He's done some things trying to, removing restrictions for offshore drilling. Trump has done some good things here and there, but the fears I've had before Trump became president is that I fear he's going to keep growing the size of government. You saw with the Republican health care bill that they had set for a vote and they pulled it at the last minute because that Trump care was really no different than Obamacare with just some slight tweaks. So we're heading in the same direction. Government continues to grow, just slight tweaks with the Trump flavor. It's like, well, but Trump is going to make government more efficient because he's a savvy businessman. He knows how to make the trains run on time, right? It's that sort of idea. But, and kind of the libertarian perspective in general is you can try to make the government a little bit more efficient, but at the end of the day, anything the government is spending money on, that's now money we don't have to spend. So in terms of liberty, that sucks. But also, the question is, can government do anything better than the private sector? No, the private sector, because they have a profit motive and a number of other reasons, the private sector will always do better. And, Trump, he just recently signed some NASA legislation because Trump wants to, send man to Mars. That was almost $20 billion that's proposed to go to NASA. That episode I did a few weeks ago talking about NASA and Elon Musk, comparing them, how Elon Musk and his Falcon 9, how they're able to do shuttle launches tens of millions of dollars cheaper than NASA ever could do it, and they're reusing rockets that they never could do before. So you hear all this stuff from these little greenies about, recycling and, going green, all that sort of thing. Well, here's the private sector. They have an interest in efficiently using resources. So you don't need to have this sort of green mentality like you do with government, because government is the most wasteful entity out there. So if you don't want to waste money, if you don't want to waste valuable resources, then put it in the hands of private entrepreneurs. Look at what Jeff Bezos has done over at Amazon. I just saw a news story a few days ago where Jeff Bezos, this last week, he added like $3.3 billion to his wealth. He's not far away from passing Bill Gates as the world's richest man. Or if you go back to the year 2000, actually, no, wait. Amazon started, I think, in 1996. So here's a company that's just over 20 years old. And Jeff Bezos could be the richest man in the world. And Bill Gates, he had a total huge head start on Jeff Bezos, where, Microsoft was getting big in the 1980s. And I remember reading where Bill Gates has made comments saying that, based on the government regulations today and how things are today, he could have never started Microsoft. Well, here's entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos taking advantage of where he can, being more efficient in terms of getting products right to the consumer, totally getting rid of and doing away with the old big box store mentality. So if you want to succeed in business, you have to be innovative. You have to be ahead of the curve, predicting where you think consumer demand will be, what they want. I mean, we always want things to be easier. I love shopping on Amazon because I don't have to go to a store looking around for these little cables I need for my computer. I can go on Amazon. I can find the exact cable I need, the exact adapter I need. It costs me a few bucks compared to, say, $20 that you're going to find at, some electronics store. And you have to be shopping around for a half hour just trying to find it. And then you come to find out, oh, they don't have it in stock. You can't find that exact one. So you just wasted your time. So it's made shopping a lot more efficient being on Amazon. Then being an Amazon Prime member, you get free 2-day shipping. You get numerous benefits being a Prime member. It's insane. It's like you have access to tens of thousands of movies. It's basically Amazon has their own version of Netflix. As long as you're a Prime member, you get to rent one Kindle book free per month if you're an Amazon Prime member. You get access to Amazon Music with tens of thousands of songs you can download right to your device by being a Prime member. So, for all you out there who are listening to the show who are not an Amazon Prime member, I've been an Amazon Prime member since 2011, and it's the best. I think it's like $100 a year. It's worth it. And you can put like 4 other people on your account so they get free 2-day shipping. It's one of the best deals out there. You break that down per month. It's cheap. And actually, if you guys want to help support my show, go to justinmooreshow.com. My last name is spelled M-O-H-R. I have a little Amazon widget there. You click on it. You go and sign up for an Amazon Prime membership. When you click through my link, I get a little commission back on that. That's not costing you anything extra, and it helps me out. It helps keep my show going here. Now, I'm trying to get all this little techie stuff figured out here. I don't know why my episodes aren't appearing. It's kind of frustrating because I don't know what the hell's going on. And, I got an email back from Wibsyn, and they're like, oh, yeah, things are great. No, we don't. I was able to download it just fine. So maybe some of you out there are getting it, but there's a lot of people who aren't getting it because I can't get it myself. So I'm working on that. And so you guys can do that to help support my show by going to Amazon. You can also, if you want to donate to me directly, PayPal, I have a little widget there. Just click on it. Donate over $50 to my show. I will send you my bonus episodes. How to save hundreds of dollars going to Vegas. I'm working on an update for Freedom Fest this year, a good hotel to stay at with some updated information. Also include on that new bonus episode a good place if you want to start trading, say investing in gold and silver stocks, or just stocks in general. You want to buy Microsoft or your Cisco, any stock you want to buy. I can tell you a place that I strongly recommend you go, and it's one of the best deals going out there. I'll recommend some credit cards that are really good value where you can get a lot of cash back, and just some different strategies with that. Because I want to help save you guys as much money as you can. Because the more money you can save on everyday things that you buy, that's more money you have for something else. Go take a trip somewhere, have more money to save, so it's more money to invest. And over the years, that can add up to be a lot of money. And so if you guys will do that for me, and I will be back here next week, and I'm looking forward to it. This is Justin Moore, signing off.